Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit. We're here with Dante and Katey, the ultimate reselling power couple, as you can see in the thumbnail. Katey's been reselling, been taking it serious, she says, for 2 years. She has been on eBay for 10. Dante has a really, really cool story. Dante was actually, speaking of 10, he wasn't on eBay for 10 years. He was in prison for 10 years, which is, I can't even imagine what that's like. But now he's been reselling for, is it 4 years consecutive, Dante?
Yeah,
4 years.
consecutively 4 years.
So this is going to be a really cool story. I mean, he was in prison for 10 years. They have 6 years reselling experience together. I mean, they're a couple. They both resell. I'm so excited to learn about what it's like to be living a day in your guys' life, because it sounds exciting. So maybe, Katey, you could start it off. How's it going? How was 2021 for you?
2021 was crazy for me. I mean, really, the goal was just to, expand on my Amazon business a little bit more, get ungated in more categories, and then dive into like rare vintage antiquarian books a little bit more, get more knowledgeable about that. Hey, Mo, good to see you, man. Thanks
What's
for
up, Mo?
stopping in. And finish school. I'm finally done with my bachelor's degree this year. I graduated, I'm done. And then I met Dante and things just, so plans just, I don't know, a lot of doors opened up though that I wasn't expecting and I wasn't prepared for, but a lot of open doors happened, opportunities happened, and it's just been exciting and fun ever since. So 2021 has been crazy, and some things went as planned and some things were surprises, and thankfully they were good surprises.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And for anyone who doesn't know Katey, she does have a YouTube channel. Dante does as well. Really cool content. I'll put links. Well, the links are down below in the description, so give them a subscribe. But Katey, she's a bookseller. She's a writer. She sells on eBay, Etsy, Amazon. Dante, I don't know as much about Dante, so maybe you could share a little bit about yourself. You've been selling for 4 years. What are you, full time? Are you part time? Because I know Katey, you still work a job and you do this.
Part time,
You
yeah.
do a part time, so you have multiple streams of income. What about yourself, Dante?
So yeah, I'm just a regular dude. Like you said, I did some time in prison. Got caught up in some bad situation. Not making excuses, but it is what it is. Did some time in prison. And I pretty much had a choice: either come home and go down a path of destruction or go down a path of trying to do some right things. And I kind of chose the path of financial freedom. Start learning some financial things back in there, like the stock market. That's what really got me into anything learning about, you can make more money for yourself in an hour than you could working for another business. I think that's what really opened my eyes, like the stock market initially. And then just from there, I thought I was going to come home and open up like 1,000 car wash businesses and just like a tattoo shop. Like I had so many different ideas. I wrote down so many different business plans because I was learning about business plans. I started to get my college degree while I was locked up, but that kind of failed. Financially, it's hard to struggle back there when you're, in prison. But I still learned a lot while I was going through some courses. Came home, thought I made it because I went from like a cook to a server to a manager of a restaurant. Like I'm controlling the safe. Like to me, I thought I made it. Ex-con, armed robber. But then I just wasn't happy in my work life or happy in life. And then I see a bunch of commercials and some guy called Rake and Profit and another guy called Lavar Aviance come on my YouTube all the time. And you just get interested in that. So you just kind of dive in and you look and you see that these people are walking in the Goodwills and just doing just random things to make money. And it's like, wow, if they can do it, maybe I can. So you try to get around like-minded individuals. So like I said, Lavar, he is another individual who's kind of like similar to me when it comes to like build and look and stuff like that. So I start watching him all the time, and he's like mainly on Amazon. So initially I was an Amazon seller. Like my first 2 or 3 years, pretty much nothing from Amazon. Like I was an Amazon guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then I discovered eBay probably like a year and a half into my Amazon journey. I was a guy who didn't know much about eBay at all. Like I couldn't tell you anything about eBay. Didn't know people really made money on eBay like that. I thought it was just people buy stuff really. But who are they buying it from? I should have thought about that.
Right, right.
But yeah, just to make my long story short, yeah, discovered, like I said, reselling, quit my job, decided to do it full time. Now, YouTuber who tries
He's
to,
a YouTuber
yeah, I guess
now.
I'm a YouTuber now who, I'm just trying to go in every direction. I still take reselling seriously. I still take my YouTube seriously now. I just like now I have two jobs. And it's really not a job because I'm doing what I love, even though it is a job because, you still get frustrated with the things that you love at sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just so far my little
Yeah,
journey.
that's fantastic, man. So you're selling on, do you still sell on Amazon?
Yes, I do. Had
So
like
what's your split right now?
The other day. Thank God.
Sexy.
What's your split right now when it comes to like your sales on eBay versus Amazon? Like, are you 50-50 or?
Oh, so I have like a million Amazon accounts and Ghost accounts and stuff like that. So I keep like transitioning from account to account to account. So if Amazon seller, like a lot of the rules and regulations have really changed for like the newer accounts coming up.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, they're horrible. So like I've definitely like slowed down. It's probably 75% eBay and 25% Amazon at this point, just because like it's too much of a headache with Amazon. I mean, realistically, like I love the profit margins that Amazon can give you and everything like that, but
and the audience.
Yeah, but eBay's good. It isn't. I mean, I don't need to really defer. I don't need to create like 1,000 accounts, but I do look a few Mercari sales every blue moon. Like I said, not I want to say Amazon, but YouTube does help me to be able to focus on just Amazon as well. So, I mean, I will never forget Amazon, but I will always scan for Amazon first. But it's just harder in my newer account without me having to like go through the whole process of getting invoices in certain categories. Like, I know how to get engaged and stuff. It's just like, what do I want to get engaged in? And I sell so like the broad of items that I sell, like I'm in almost every single niche. So for me, I'm not just in like a single niche where I can say, okay, I'm gonna go get engaged in Kellogg's. Let me go send some invoices in for Kellogg's. It's simple. I can do that, but at the same time, I just don't need to at this point in time with my Amazon account.
Got it. So what's it like, Katey, being in a relationship where you guys are both resellers? What's it like? And you guys could both answer it. What are the pros? What are the cons? I mean, I'm thinking the biggest con is the competition is so close.
So
she'll steal from you. She will
I
wouldn't put it past.
Did I steal this product from Dante? Because we were at the same garage sale and they had a free bin and he was looking at it, and like it's even in his video that he was looking at it. And then I walked around and I saw it and immediately grabbed it, and it ended up selling for like $25 and it was free. It was a vintage old school Fisher Price toy or VTech toy. But yeah, I would say that's the really only con of is just like, trying to have respect for boundaries of like Dante definitely sells books. He grabs books when we're out, you know what I mean? And like me trying to like, when we're sourcing together, just trying to,
not get jealous.
Yeah. Not get jealous over each other. Like, we don't go to the bin store in my area a lot, but hopefully going into the new year, we're doing that more often. And so bin stores is kind of Dante's thing. Like if you watch his channel, that's what he goes to a lot is bin stores. And so my sourcing style here, in Michigan, now that Dante's in Michigan, we're going to a lot more garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, things like that. So when we do source together, it's just like, that's probably the only con is just like trying to, we go in different rooms, we go in separate rooms, we try and, I would say the pro is like, I mean, selfishly for me, it's really nice having this like almost mentor in a way, as far as like YouTube and stuff like that. Like, he teaches me things that he doesn't even know he's teaching me. And, just it's helped me a lot as far with like YouTube and things like that. With reselling, we constantly bouncing ideas off of each other like that. Understanding the pain points, like, because I do still have a 9-to-5, like he's always taking my packages for me. And
that's nice.
When he's visiting South Carolina, like I'm taking care of his orders for him. Like it's just a lot of give and take, but it's nice having someone who like gets that, I guess I want to say, career, the reselling culture, just the career of it, I guess I want to say. Like, it's just nice having that. And then it's also nice that even the stuff that maybe he's not into, like my writing and stuff like that, it's just nice having that person that gets that you're wanting to be an entrepreneur and you're wanting to pursue a goal. Like even with his other prison channel, that's almost at 1,000. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to that so we could have 2 channels.
What's that channel called? I'll drop it in the comments.
It's Prison 2TO Profit.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't obviously know anything about prison, but like still supporting him and him supporting my writing. Like it's just nice having someone who understands like the entrepreneur like mindset beyond even reselling. Like reselling is one thing we definitely had in common, but like just beyond reselling, like other things that you can get into to have many sources of income or many things that you're passionate about. You don't have to put yourself in like a categorized box all the time.
So we have a question that just came in from the ATL flippers, and this is going to be a question.
Hey, Derek.
You guys are going to have to answer this honestly, okay? I didn't bring you guys on this show to make up anything, okay? We're going to be honest, okay? So I'm going to ask you, who has the largest death pile? Katey.
Tay doesn't believe in death piles. So like literally he will stay up. Like some of it I think is like OCD, because like once he wants to get something done and it's like in his brain, he can't, it's got to get done. Like he can't let it go.
Interesting.
But he will like literally stay up till 2 a.m. listing stuff. And I'm like, man, like, but I definitely have a death pile. I like to call it my potential profit pile. But yeah, I mean, and it's sometimes frustrating because, man, you know how it goes. As soon as you list that stuff, it's selling within days, and it's just like, God, you know, I need to get better about when I source listing immediately after, and that's what Tay does, and I'm not always good about that. So,
but in her defense, I will say this: she does like book pickups where she'll get you know hundreds of inventory versus me having to go out and just like pick my inventory at a time.
Yeah, like right now I have a storage unit. Yeah, like right now I have a storage unit that's piled right now, and I have 40 more boxes to get from them. With my free book pickup service, I'm just constantly getting free inventory. So sometimes that does clog me up a little bit, but you know.
The ATL flippers is saying Katey has a large death pile because she keeps taking all the
stuff. Whatever, Derek, whatever.
So let me ask you guys right now, you know, we're moving into 2022. There's probably quite a few people who are maybe just getting started or new or trying to figure out how to make more money, how to source more items. We'll start with Tay. Tay, what do you feel is maybe a category or a niche or maybe even just a product line that is doing really well for you right now, or something that people should look into if they want to make an extra couple $100, even a couple extra $1,000 per month?
I'm like a slow turtle. I feel like they always win the race. So my answer is going to be like items that they can always fluctuate in price anywhere between like $16 to even hundreds of dollars. So I'm just gonna say like vintage toys, especially when I say vintage, I mean like toys from like the real 80s and 70s. Like those toys do really well for me. They always sell. Like it doesn't matter. Okay, I take that off. I say it doesn't matter the brand. It matters the brand. But like good Fisher Price toys, like the VTech toys, you know, Sesame Street, you know, obviously the popular toys that we've seen on TV, like those always do well. Like they don't sit long for me at all normally. I mean, so I just love like vintage toys and like 80s, but not 2000s, but like the 80s and early 90s is probably as far as I'll push it.
Those things aren't going down in value.
Yeah, I would say limited. They're appreciating, like, you know, every year. It's, you know, and just I think different generations seek out that vintage. It's just a vintage market right now, I think, in my mind.
And where are you finding, Tay? Are you finding a lot of the vintage toys over at the bins, or is that something?
I find those in mainly like Goodwill. Like when I go to the bins, when I go to the bins, it's anything goes. I literally will scan anything, pick up anything that's in there. They usually have like a lot of boxed items. I'm more of a reseller who likes barcodes on my items. So if my item has a barcode, I'm more likely to pick it up than not. I really don't like a lot of loose items. So yeah, I love a barcode. Easy to list, easy to be able to ship. It's just easier with a barcode there somehow, easier to look up the item. Just a lot of reasons I like barcodes. But overall, Goodwill for like just the vintage items mostly, and then like the bins, mostly I'm looking for newer items or hot items or things like that.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I introduced my buddy Vinny to my YouTube channel, who's a huge toy seller, and man, those videos did really well. People's minds were blown, and I still think a lot of people don't think toys are worth money. They just don't that's why I feel like toys is one of the best opportunities if you want to make a couple $100, couple $1,000, depending on where you live, because a lot of people pass them up. They just don't see the value in toys. So that was a great share. Katey, what about yourself? What's a product or a category or a niche that, or a niche, however you'd like to say it, that
niche.
you recommend to people who want to, you know, continue growing or maybe get started reselling?
So I would say to the crafty people, get on Etsy, figure out some things that you can get into. Because I think crafty people are sometimes excluded from the reseller community. And recently, since starting my Etsy, I've met so many people that go to estate sales and online auctions and buy a bunch of ephemera for super cheap and do super crafty, amazing stuff for it and sell it for $40, $50 plus. So that is just so cool to me. So I would say if you're a crafty person, figure out your niche and then get on TikTok, because TikTok is really known to blow up like crafty entrepreneurs. So that would, two things I would recommend with that. I would say if you're looking to get into book reselling, you need to check out Steve, because he was the first channel. Literally, you were the first channel that I came across when I typed in how to sell books. So shout out to you for your tags, for the YouTube tags. But I did notice when I was, 2+ years ago, had a bunch of free books. Again, free books is how I got started. Someone gave me 4 tubs of books and I just figured, you know what, I'll try and sell these. In the search bar on YouTube, I couldn't find anything about selling on eBay. It was all Amazon, and Amazon FBA. So I decided when I was going to do my YouTube channel that I was going to talk about selling books on eBay. So my suggestion is, understand which platform you want to dive into first. If you want to do Amazon, or if you want to do eBay, or if you want to do them parallel. And that's going to depend a little bit on how you're getting your inventory. But if you are going to thrift stores, estate sales, online auctions, whatever, and you're picking up books, I tend to gravitate now a lot more towards the vintage and antiquarian, because I can get it so cheap. I sold, this was last year, I sold a book for $500 that I got for $3 at an estate sale. And that's a big deal. Like that, just that one sale could help out a single mom, which I was at the time, with some groceries and gas for the month. You know what I mean? So I just think it's a good thing to kind of look out for if you can get it cheap enough and, do the eBay sold comp research.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Thanks for sharing that. And definitely want to dive more into like the free book pickup and whatnot in a couple minutes, because I think that's important. But let me ask you guys right now, can people still make, good money reselling right now, or is there too much competition? Is it still worthwhile, reselling on eBay and Amazon for the average person? Of course, there's always people who, have been in business for years and, have a mentor or somebody that taught them the secrets of it. But like, could the average person, do you feel, actually start a reselling business now and make, let's just say, a couple $1,000s a month? Is it realistic, or are people kind of just probably going to get their hopes up if they start this business? From your experience and maybe from what you've seen of like your followers and stuff, can the average person do this?
Absolutely not. They should stay home on their couch and let me make all the money.
Like, where's he going with that? I love it.
Steve's face like, what?
No. But yes, of course. Like, I think it's the will. If you can have the motivation to get up and go work for somebody else and put 40 hours a week or 30 hours a week into somebody else's business, I absolutely believe you can take half of that time and go make as much money for yourself in this reselling industry. I'm a firm believer in that. I really believe somebody can take 25 hours a week and focus on like sourcing. And I'm not saying shipping and handling like stuff behind the scenes, but 20 hours a week just being out there and about, you can make some decent money. And people just take the sourcing part lightly. And obviously I'm saying make sure we're checking comps, finding good items. But yeah, it's absolutely positively reselling is not going anywhere. You will see retails shut down before you will see the online version of retail stores shut down. So yeah, reselling is not going anywhere. And there's so many different niches and categories that people are out there. Like it blows my mind. Like people talk about ephemera. I don't even know nothing about ephemera, and I've been selling for 4 years. Like there's so much that I didn't know in this reselling industry that people are out there making millions on in this reselling industry. So yeah, most definitely.
So Katey, if and I'm not saying that Tay's saying it's so easy or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. But if, you know, and I believe the same thing. I believe anybody could do this. Why don't more people do it from your experience? I have so many friends of mine who I wonder to myself, I'm like, you've seen me change my life financially through reselling over the last 8 years, and they don't do it. I don't know what it is. Like, why don't more people do this? Because honestly, I feel like we still are like in the 1% club, all of us. I mean, 99% of the world just working a job, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I feel like everybody should be doing this at least on the side, even if you're working a job, because it's easy money. But what do you think is the reasoning?
So I'm going to be a little harsh with my answer, because I have had 3 friends. One of them actually took, Romer's book selling course.
It's Romer's fault.
Yeah. she took, Romer's book selling course. And I think the thing is it's a mixture of instant gratification syndrome, where if they aren't making crazy money within the first month, or if they list 15 items and it's been a week and a half and nothing sells, they're wanting to give up. So I think it's kind of like the instant gratification syndrome. And then I also think it's analysis paralysis. So like they overthink the entire process. Like one of my friends, not the one that did the book course, but one of my friends literally procrastinated listing items on eBay, which I have a death pile. I have no room to talk, but she literally procrastinated selling on eBay because she didn't have the shipping supplies to ship it out, didn't know how she was going to ship it, and still didn't understand what to put in the listing for shipping. And like, so it's just like, just do it. Like overthinking is what's hanging you up. And sometimes you have to just dive in and do it. I didn't know what I was doing. Like the first few books that I listed, I lost money because I didn't understand shipping. But it only took me twice, and it was a pretty cheap lesson that I was willing to, live with. And after that, I got it together and I figured it out. I watched some YouTube, and, I think it's just like over analyzing things and then the instant gratification. So like, maybe some of that is like the big gurus that kind of say stuff like, oh yeah, look how I did this, look how I did that. And it's like, okay, but some things are over time. You have no idea this person's expenses. You have, it's just so many, just kind of like understanding the realisticness of it, and that it is, I think, a long game sometimes. It's not always a short game. You will have those short games. Like, yeah, you will list something and something will sell in 24 hours, and it's awesome. It's a great feeling. It's exciting, but it's not always the norm. And I think people get discouraged with that. So just like easily discouraged, that instant gratification thing. And then just the fact of like, over analyzing it, it really, it doesn't have to be as complicated as I think some people make it.
Yeah. I feel like one of the tough parts of reselling is, just a society that we're born into. We raise our hand. We're always asking for like answers from somebody else, and like it's like when you run your own business, and I can tell with both of you guys, you have this quality. You're very resourceful. Like you'll find a way. Like nobody's going to tell you what to do. There's like, you have to go out there and like figure out how to ship, how to list, how to find items. Like it's all like creativity, being willing to fail and experiment. And like you said, willing to just be patient, because, and I'm curious, Dante, did you go through this at all when you first started? You were selling some items and making some profit, but that profit, you had to continue to put it back in your business, because you know how it goes. Like if you're not consistently investing back in the business to source more items, I mean, your sales are going to dwindle, right? Especially with Amazon.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off that question, just because I'm like her. I think people are just lazy. At the end of the day, people are just lazy. Once you see the work, because
we
it is
keeping it
work.
real. We
Like,
keeping it real. You
How
guys
I
know
really
us.
feel.
like it is definite work. Don't get me wrong, but it is easy work, but it is consistent work at the same time. And people just don't like consistent work, like the shipping part and the listing part, and you have to go do. It's so much easier to go clock in for somebody else. Like you have worker bees and you have boss bees. Which one are you? Majority of the people who are on this planet, they are worker bees, and there's nothing wrong with being a worker bee. There are some worker bees who are out there making a killing and they're loving their life.
And you need those people in the world.
And we need those people in the world. But that's why a lot of worker bees, they do get into reselling thinking that they can do it, and then they don't have all the answers, and they're like, oh my god, this is too hard. Let me just go back to a regular job because it's easier. So that's why.
I mean, it's the harsh truth, but it really is. It really is. So that's why I don't get nervous. I really don't have the whole scarcity mindset and I don't mind putting some things out there on my channel because the people that are going to take action are going to do it. And I'm so glad they're going to do it. And I'm glad that I was the reason that they were able to be successful with something. The other people are going to try it and either not like it or they're not going to take action. So, the reselling world, the longevity of it, I think, is kind of the 1% people that actually stick with it long term. I mean, 8 years, that's a long time, man. That's a long time.
And I never had that problem. Like when you asked that question, I never had a problem. When I first dove into reselling, like you said, I started with $30. I literally started with $30 and I turned that $30 into an Amazon check that was paying me like $500 something every 2 weeks. Turned that into another Amazon check that was paying me like $1,200 something every 2 weeks. Like my highest gross in a month for me personally on Amazon was $8,000. So that's what you can do if you have the drive. Like people just don't. I believe it goes back down to like I was sourcing every single day. I had the mindset, okay, I have $5. I can go to some Goodwill with this $5 and find 5 items or 2 or 3 items with this $5 to turn that into $30, $25. And sometimes you're gonna get lucky and find an item that's $6 and it's gonna sell for $100 something. Like you just have to know that mindset, and you just have to do that every single day until you get the rhythm. You'll know your stores. Like that's just all it takes. People just don't have that drive. I hate to say this, but if you are a person and you decide to step into reselling and you have an excuse to why it failed, you just didn't try hard enough. There's too many avenues. Like even for me, I can claim up here where I live, there's not a lot of sourcing places, but guess what? There's online. I can get pallets shipped to me. Like I don't have to, like there's too many ways to make money. You're a drop shipping king. Like there's too many ways to make money. So that's just where I go with it.
What would you say is the most important thing for somebody? And this is kind of a trick question, but do you think it's most important to focus on sourcing, listing, or shipping? If you had to put those 3 in order of the most important.
I mean, you have to source the item in order for it to be able to get shipped, and you have to list it before it.
That's a good point. You have to have the product to make the money.
You have to source smart. I mean, if you can't, sourcing is the most important part because right there you're going to know if the item is going to get shipped or not. Because if you're just sourcing just to source, but if you're sourcing to actually get the item shipped by checking sales comps, making sure you have the right item, you already know that item sold before you even bought it.
I would say a close second is like with like the Etsy scene. If you're into that type of market, customer service, aesthetic in your packaging, like all that type of stuff, thank you notes. Like I also think that like with the type of platform that you're using, you need to understand the culture of that platform because then a close second to that is like your customer service and your shipping speeds and all of that. I would say a close second for sure.
We got a comment that came in. I want to know what everybody thinks.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see so many names that are subscribers of me.
We shout them out.
I appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you so much.
Let's shout some people out really quick. Who are you seeing there?
I saw Rob. What's going on, Rob?
Yeah, Rob said the cinnamon Snickers messed with his brain.
What's up, Rob?
During our 12 days of giveaway, or Tay's 12 days of giveaway, he was giving out cinnamon Snickers that we found. They were nasty, dude. Don't try
they sounded interesting, but now I know.
No, don't. It's like cheap cinnamon. Like that's the only way I can.
Rob said it wasn't that bad.
We got Pinarello Rider in the house saying, I try to motivate friends to earn extra money with reselling as a side hustle, but they, in all caps, refuse to take action and continue to rely on quote unquote the man for overtime, hours, bonuses.
Yeah, no reason you can't do it for supplemental or fun money. Like literally, there's no reason.
They get 2 weeks of their life to enjoy a year. Think about that. Like you get 2 weeks paid vacation, maybe, You know what I'm saying? You get the PTO that most jobs give. Like you can't call in sick. You can't. There's so many disadvantages to having a regular job than it is to, you know, trying to find something that works for you or making your own money. I'm not even just saying reselling. I'm just saying you probably have an idea or something, a skill within you to be able to make that hourly wage.
Oh, we got people from Facebook in here.
Oh
Hello.
yeah, we got everybody coming in right now with StreamYard. Now I'm curious. Rob said that's the thing. You got to list things you love to list. And I'd like to pose a question to everybody. Do you feel that in order to be a successful reseller, you have to focus on items that you love to list, or can you venture into niches and categories that you're not really interested in? Like on what was it? One of the last shows. Who was it? It was my buddy. He was selling extra large women's bras. I can't. I ain't gonna be in that part of the thrift store. Okay. But you know, do you have to sell things that you like or enjoy or you're interested in, or you're not going to look like a weirdo, or what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I prefer easy to list over love to list. If it's easy to list, I'll take it. I mean, I'll do it. I don't. For me, it's about money. I mean, I don't have to love anything to list it for me. And there's just so many categories that helps people who aren't interested in reselling. But for me, if you want to expand your horizons, yeah, you're gonna have to like step outside the box with listing things besides the things that you love. But that's a good start. I mean, don't get me wrong. It helps listening to things that you love and being able to have a niche that if you're in a niche that is consistently making good sales for you, then yeah, of course. But for me, I haven't found just one niche that just like, hey, you just need to be selling me and me alone.
Yeah, I won't touch clothing, but that's a choice I'm willing to make. Like I realize when I go into thrift stores, garage sales, etc., that I'm potentially leaving money on the table because I don't want to look in those areas and list that stuff. That's something that I have to accept and deal with and make up in other categories that I don't mind selling.
So, Katey, you said you had a $500 book flip. Is that your biggest flip? ATL Flippers is asking.
That is my biggest flip to date. Yes.
Wow. How about yourself, Dante? Anything that stands out?
Yeah, I always say two things. I sold this gun individually for like $420 that I bought for $5. And then I also bought a pack of stamps that had like over 1,000 stamps in it, or probably way more than that. I pretty much made almost $1,000 on the $5 purchase of stamps that I had that day.
Wow.
Wow. Reseller Niche says, I think you usually start with stuff you love to list, and then you figure out other stuff that you like enough to make your business grow. Now, I got a question. I got a quick question for you guys. One of the big mistakes that I made when I first started, and I was actually for the first couple of years selling clothing full time, I would pick up any piece of clothing that would make $3, $4 profit. And then over time, I was like, wow, like some of these things don't sell. Some of the prices crash. It takes a lot of time to take photos and list and descriptions and SEO and customer service and shipping, so on and so forth. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to mess with clothing items that don't make at least $10 profit. For you guys, do you have like a minimum profit cutoff when you're outsourcing, or are you kind of just weighing like how easy it is, like Dante was saying, to list and the time involved, or do you have like a minimum profit cutoff?
Well, my business model is a little different because I do a lot of free book pickups in my area. So I'm getting free inventory. So, is it worth my time selling a book and only making like a $5 profit in volume? Yes. If I were to list everything in volume and have thousands and thousands of listings in my eBay store. But even with my free inventory, I still like to be at a certain profit margin. And then I also just recently started connecting with other resellers and selling them the ones that are maybe $5 to $8 profit for super cheap because I got them for free. And then I'm still monetizing it, but just in a different way. And then blessing somebody else that wants to maybe get into books or have inventory, or maybe they're in an area like we just talked about, like maybe they have one Goodwill and it's an hour away. You know what I mean? Just like helping other resellers in the community with inventory options. So for me, with my free book pickups, like, yeah, I will list something. And if I'm only making $7 on it, in most cases, yeah, I will list it. Now I'm slowly gravitating towards other ways because I get so much. Like I'm really fortunate that I'm getting so much and so often. So I'm finding other ways to monetize that. But I would say when I'm out at the thrift store, I'm really picky. Like, I like to, at least, at the very least, be tripling my money. I don't know. That's just kind of how I am. I don't like the idea of spending $20 to make 25. You know what I mean? Like, I like my buy cost to be significantly lower than that. But again, that's because a lot of my inventory comes from a free service that I do in my community. So I get kind of picky when I go to thrift stores and estate sales or do online auctions.
Thanks for sharing. How about yourself, Dante?
Me, I just have a rule of thumb. I go by percentages more than like dollar amount. So
Like
if
profit margins?
profit margin. So if like the percentage sounds good to me, so if I can find an item for $1, you know what I'm saying? If it's going to make me 600-700%, I may pick that item up. I like $6, you know what I'm saying? So I'm way more in percentage than anything. And I also have a rule of thumb. If I touched it, why not give it a chance? So even though I touched an item and it may only profit me $3, if it's going to sell quickly, if it has a good sell-through rate and everything like that, I'm going to go ahead and pick up that item, because as a former server, I was used to getting like dollar tips, 50-cent tips, $3 tips. And then you realize those are the tips that really make up your whole salary. So if I'm getting $3 and $4 and $5 little sales here and there, and those items are selling quickly and it's easy for me to just to ship them, put them in an envelope real quick, I'll take them all day, every day, because at the end of the year, those $3 and $4 sales, they add up to around 10 grand. So
yeah, I do agree with that. Like, I think that's another reason that I'm okay with like my $7 and $5 items sometimes, because those are the bread and butter that are like constantly keeping my store alive and bringing traffic sometimes too. So I do agree with that.
You a whole snack.
And shout out to Dante. Apparently I'm a whole snack. Hey.
Hey, Dante, I thought I had it bad at the Cracker Barrel, man, but getting 50-cent tips, man, I used to have the old ladies over there,
There goes a quarter. Thank you so much. I
already know.
Now, real quick, because I had mentioned earlier that we're going to touch on it, and I know we have about 7 more minutes left because Katey is on lunch break. So thanks for sneaking on in here, Dante. Appreciate you as well. What advice, real quick, would you give for people who want to get free inventory? I know you do the free book pickups. I know we don't have a lot of time, but maybe share a couple tips.
Yeah. So for me, I just totally went for it and made a Facebook page and did a bunch of advertising. And then I already had like a really big network of people in my local community, because I used to be in volunteer government. I used to be in service clubs. Like, I did a lot of things back when I was in the corporate world, which I used to my advantage, and connected with a lot of service club people, which connected me with other people. And then I just went where I assumed the books would be. So libraries, schools, colleges. Like, I reached out to a ton of people, and it's taken me 2 years, but now I have 6 solid relationships with schools and libraries that I get from consistently, a couple times a year. And then I would say Facebook Marketplace. I got a lot of free books through Facebook Marketplace. People just think they're junk. Toys is another really good one. A lot of people will have just a bunch of their little kids' toys that they don't want anymore and they're willing to get rid of. So those 2 things, just putting myself out there and using my network to my advantage, and then Facebook Marketplace.
Awesome. Great tips right there. Yeah. I think a lot of people get caught up just sourcing. You reading that comment?
Good Lord.
I think a lot of people get caught up only going to thrift stores, and I think that's great. But if you're having issues scaling and finding enough inventory, there's so many ways. I mean, there's literally, it might sound crazy saying it, but there really is hundreds of ways that you could source inventory if you were extremely, extremely creative. I want to hit you guys with a couple rapid fire questions. Can you guys both share one of the biggest mistakes that maybe people need to avoid, moving into the new year if they're looking to really be successful reselling? Just be something quick.
Oh, I would always say, make sure that you account for your shipping before you even ship the item out. Like, while you're listing, just go ahead and weigh the item out if you can, or just kind of guesstimate what you think the item's going to be. Kind of be accurate if you're a good guesstimator, but if you're not, pull out that scale and weigh the items, because sometimes people just hit sell similar all the time. And then when it's time to actually ship the item, they realize that the person who shipped the item before them didn't put any shipping details in for them. So now they're shipping cost is a little bit more than what they projected. So shipping, just always something dealing with shipping.
Poor Iris, you're her competition. Poor girl. Mama Profit, your mom
better watch out,
man. I would say mine's a mentality thing. Do not compare yourself to other people, and understand that every business is different. Every lifestyle is different. That was my biggest mistake. Because in the beginning, I thought I was trash because I was not doing all these big things like everybody else.
Yeah. Great advice right there. Now, share real quick. I want you guys to look back on this video in a year at the end of 2022. What's one thing or one or two things that you'd like to see develop in your business? Where would you like to see your business go? And that could even be just maintaining. It's not always about making more money and scaling. It could be about just maintaining a lifestyle, continuing your side hustle, whatever. Is there anything that comes to mind if you were to look back on this video a year from now in terms of how you'd like your reselling business to go in 2022?
For me, it's just like, obviously, I want to increase my profit margins by 20% this year. That's probably the main goal when it comes to reselling.
That's a big one, man. I mean, that's
like 20%, definitely.
How are you going to do that real quick?
With me, it's just like diving into more like for me, it's about sourcing. At the end of the day, that's why I'll say sourcing, because the more you source, the more items that you're going to be able to list and be able to ship out. The more you source, the more items you're going to be able to find. Like if I touch 1 million items, there's no way I won't have 1,000 to be able to list and find, or there to be decent items. So I just believe getting out there and just touching as many items as I can. It sounds so bad. Getting out there and just like hitting the stores more, and I believe it's possible.
Awesome.
Specifically with reselling, I just want to expand on my knowledge as far as vintage and antiquarian books. That really has become like, I'm a history kind of nerd anyways, so it's just, and I like books, so it's just like a fun thing that I can make some pretty decent money on as well. So as far as reselling, that's what I would really like to dive into in 2022, and then maybe even help other people, and maybe charge for that service of helping them. Like they send me pictures, I help them out with estimated, listing idea.
That's awesome. I want to see you sell $1,000 book this year.
Me too. There's so much, potential out there. So yeah, I really it's a market I can't wait to dive into and learn more about.
Awesome. And are you still offering like your writing services and editing services and stuff?
Yeah. So like outside of reselling, obviously I want to grow my YouTube, like Dante, he's almost got 2 channels now that he's able to, grow and monetize off of. So I want to get to that point, and your girl needs some watch hours. So pick a playlist and watch some videos for me, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, your guys' content's really entertaining, and it's genuine. It's from the heart. It's authentic. So go follow them. And if anyone's ever, I don't know if I'm allowed to offer this, but if people are looking for services for editing, or you're writing ebooks or anything like that.
Yep. I'm back in business now. So like editing, proofreading, some virtual assistant stuff. It kind of depends what you're looking for. And then I've helped actually a lot of big, resellers that you guys probably watch, with their e-guides, and what?
Uh-oh.
What comment was it?
Oh gosh, yeah, Davante's going hard.
Mr. Stop.
I'm gonna have to throw that on the screen.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you made Dante fall out on that one.
That was hilarious.
We keep it real. It is what it is. So yeah, and then I'm a writer, so I want to, I'm hoping to have another book published by the end of 2022 of an anthology of like short stories.
Well, that's cool. I'm really excited for you guys. You guys are definitely the ultimate reselling power couple. And you know, I really wish the best for you. It was really entertaining.
Thank
It was fun. You guys dropped a lot of knowledge and insights. We had definitely some entertaining comments as well, which makes things more fun. But for everyone watching now, if you guys aren't subscribed to Dante and Katey, the links to the YouTube channel is down below in the description. You can go over there and find their Instagrams and TikToks and all types of stuff. So go follow, go subscribe to all their stuff. And just want to say thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it. And really wish you the best in 2022 and happy holidays.
Appreciate you having us, for real.
Thanks a lot, Steven.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks again. Bye.